welcome to this special episode of Real Estate Fight Club. This is a series called What Would You Do?, where we talk about professional standards committee cases and code of ethics violations. Here's who's on today.
Thank you, Johnny, or Ed.
Ed, yeah. So here with me today is Jim Camarada from Keller Williams in Minnesota. Jim, you woke up hostile today, I heard. Through
Not
the grapevine.
Not I.
We're gonna fight.
No, actually, I woke up and I turned on the news, and I just want to put a shout out to all the folks down in Florida.
Well, this is recording after that, so
I know it's recording after it, but
you could move. If you're in a hurricane place, you should move to Ohio or Minnesota.
Or Minnesota. Yeah.
If you like snow, move to Minnesota.
Okay, so we have an interesting case this morning.
Let me hear it.
Yeah, well, this is a kind of an unusual situation where the real estate agent is also a preacher in a local church.
Oh, I know where this is headed. Also,
Yeah.
Not sure if it's unusual for our real estate agents to have other jobs.
No, I know quite a few of them who
do
something else for supplemental income or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Anyway, this individual is a preacher, and he stated before his group of congregants, quote unquote, lesbians and homosexuals are murderers according to the scriptures, unquote.
Oh, Lord.
So somebody in the audience
is also a real estate agent, but also attends the church.
Filed an ethics complaint, as you could imagine.
I can imagine that.
And the complainant argued in his complaint that the agent's statement constituted hate speech and that it was in violation of Article 10.
Please read for us Article 10.
Article 10. There are two things I'm going to read. One, realtors shall not deny equal professional services to any person for reasons of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity.
Okay.
Realtors shall not be party to any plan or agreement to discriminate against a person or persons on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity. Now,
that didn't happen.
Recently, there was an amendment by NAR.
Okay.
So standard practice 10-5 reads, realtors must not use harassing speech, hate speech, epithets, or slurs based on race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity. That was just passed in November of 2020. So, I know what you're probably going to jump on is our freedom of speech, but NAR took that into consideration when they passed that amendment to Article 10. So there you have it. So we've got this person that has said that in public, and
they said it,
filed a complaint in church.
Yes, they said it to their congregation. Okay, let's back up. Are they in violation of the code? I believe they're in violation of the amended code, but not the original code. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why NAR amended
it. I get that.
Yeah.
But in this, this was an actual case, right? Was it before the amendment, before the change about the hate speech? Like, what was the result?
It was May of 2021. So it was after the amendment.
Oh, okay. So I assume they found them in violation. Yeah.
They did.
Okay. Here's my thoughts.
Yeah.
I do not agree with the statement. I don't know if that needs to be said, but look, I don't know. I don't really read the Bible. I have read it before. I don't remember it saying that.
I don't either.
So I'm not sure that that's correct. I'm not sure that's what's in the Bible. The other side of it is like, and maybe one of our listeners knows if it's in the Bible or not. I feel like that just opened up a can of worms. But here the thing is like, okay, there's this line that my biggest thing about it is if you are also something else, like let's just say it's easy for religion to have this example. If you are a religious leader and you are also a real estate agent and your religious practices or your religious duties conflict with your realtor,
No,
your realtor duties, which one trumps the other?
And that's a very good debatable question.
Well, let's
And
debate
that's
that.
been, yeah, I mean, it's been hammered back and forth for years. And as long as we are carrying the Realtor banner, we are licensees in that particular state, we are held to a higher standard of ethics and performance, and what we do and what we say and what we do and don't do is under a higher degree of scrutiny
Okay. At
and higher standard.
all times, no matter what.
Yep, that's what
Okay.
10.5 amended to do.
So then if you are of a specific religion, which is a federal, like you cannot discriminate, is it considered
You got the 7.
discrimination if the real estate agents, NAR, decide that, because basically the result would be that you could not be a preacher for these religions.
No, it has to do with
Yes.
protecting the protected classes. You can still be a preacher and you can preach whatever religion you want, but when you start getting into the perceived area of discriminating or hate speech against any one of the
But
protected
if that's
classes,
part of your religion, then you cannot preach about that.
as a realtor,
Correct.
right?
So
No,
then NAR is telling you, if you want to be a real estate agent, then you can likely not fulfill all of your duties as the religious leader of that religion. If this is, I mean, look, I think we can all agree that hate speech is not good, right? But I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
and I think where does it end? I think is where my brain is going, right? Like where does this NAR supersedes federal law? Because the federal, like the court system has said that these religions are allowed to congregate. They say that and they preach what they preach, right? And people are allowed to follow them. And unless and until you do something illegal to the government, from the government's point of view, you are in compliance with the rules of our land as governed by the law, except if you're a realtor.
And if you're a realtor and you're a member of NAR and your local board, you have
I just
agreed
can't feel
as
that.
a member to
Yeah,
follow the rules.
I can't.
That's membership.
Okay. So unless and until it messes your life up, there could be like, what's next? What are they going to say next that they can't do?
Jen, you're not getting an argument out of me. But what prompted this was there was a lot of stuff out on social media.
Yeah.
Years ago, we didn't have that issue because we didn't have social media. Now
Right.
we do. And everybody's out there espousing all sorts of stuff. And NAR stepped in and said, look, we are a professional organization and we're not going to trash others.
Right.
We're going to behave professionally and,
Okay.
be nice. The golden rule, be nice. So I know where you're going with this. And I read the book 1984 by George Orwell
Yeah.
like 3 times.
Yeah.
Are we headed to Big Brother?
Yeah.
Gosh, I hope not.
Yeah, we are. Maybe. I don't know. Let's take a
Yeah.
quick break and then we'll
Oh,
let
sure.
me tell you about the
What about
sponsors.
that?
Okay.
Yeah,
So
go
there's
ahead.
a couple of sponsors that I would like to tell you about. So right now, everybody needs leads. What you need is leads. Here are our well, gosh, we have so many lead sources. Oh, let me just tell you our top 3. I need to give you 3. Sorry. Our best three lead sources right now. First one is Pipeline Pro Tools. What they will do, go to pipelineprotools.com/fight club, request a demo of what they do. They are our marketing engine. They will demonstrate how we're getting leads. And it's accounted for 10% of our business this year, the leads that we got using their system. And they'll show you how to do it. They'll give you what we do for free. And then if you want to sign up for their service, you can. Also, if your social media, you want to up on your social media game, go to Monica's Ghost Poster. So it's Ghost Poster, GHOSTPOSTR.com. It's free. She'll give you the postings that you need to put on your social media so you can get your social media game up and get all your sphere and friends and family. And then also, if you're a cold caller, whoop, whoop, or you like to circle prospect, do RedX. So it's www.theredx.com/fight club. And if you want to try that, they will waive your fee. So go get them leads. All right. Back to business. If you want to read this case, you can go to the vault, which is jennifermertlin.com/vault. But I think you get the gist. That's where everything is held. There's a bunch of resources in there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
the hearing panel basically said that, yeah, this agent is in violation, noting that the complainant's testimony had provided clear, strong, and convincing proof that the agent's statement was intended to insult, offend, or intimidate, and that it was disparaging and abusive.
I agree. Look, I agree. And I think that according to the rules,
you agree.
if I'm on the panel, I know, right? If I'm on the panel, I agree.
Yeah.
My issue is with where does it end? So
yeah,
I just can't, I don't know, man.
Well, go back 2 years ago when they passed this in November of 2020, and there was a lot of chatter back and forth about this very topic.
I think it's a big topic because, and unless and until I do not agree that your membership of an organization should supersede. Well, I guess I can see their point though, because you're held to a higher standard. Because I was going to say it shouldn't subsede federal law. But I think that if you're not acting, because there's so many of our membership have other priorities and so much of our membership doesn't do this full time or whatever. And I don't know if that matters.
I don't think it does.
But when you're not acting on behalf, like when you're not acting as a real estate agent, should you be held accountable to the rules?
That hat never comes off. It just never comes off.
It's an impossible request, because at some point as a human being, you will violate some code of ethics rule that to you seems arbitrary, but it is a rule. So then what happens? And that's the other side of it. Nothing actually happens. Okay. You get in trouble. You get a fine. Okay.
Well, there are different degrees, and we've talked about.
We fight about this.
There are different degrees of, okay, the first offense, second offense, third offense. You could end up losing your license. I mean,
look, I think a lot of people should lose their license.
Well, that's another story.
More people. There are also multiple offenders that don't lose their license. So I'm saying if we are held to a higher standard.
Our board has terminated some people.
Okay. Some people. I'm just saying, if there are people that get in trouble, there are also people that don't get in trouble. And if we're held to a higher standard, I think the organization has to be held to a higher standard on what happens. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It just doesn't, something about it feels not right.
Have you served on a professional standards committee at all?
I can't read all that stuff.
No. There's not a whole lot of reading involved.
It feels like a lot of reading.
You have to go to a class.
I needed audio. Mhm.
Okay, can't help you there. But what has actually helped me as a broker is
Yeah,
attending these different hearings. And, sometimes we sit there afterwards in executive session and say, what were you thinking?
right.
We have to send a very clear message that this is totally unacceptable. And we've hit some people with some really big fines,
Which is
continuing ed and
yeah,
fines.
okay.
Don't do this again. This is not
And do
acceptable.
they do it again? Some
Uh,
people do and some
and the
don't.
ones, yeah, well, I don't always have access to that kind of data,
And if they do it again,
that it's in their file. And we will know during executive session.
you do know during the exact, but you don't know when they're presenting. You know only
No.
before you deliver the fine.
Right, right. We have to keep a very open mind and just hear the facts. And then after everybody leaves, then we go into executive session and we talk about it and the facts and
Yeah.
what did we hear? What did we observe? And
From
then
this
we're
specific case. And then
yep.
I
And then
just, while I don't agree with this real estate agent slash whatever religious leader, I do not agree with their statement. I'm not a part of that church or what did you use congregation? I think you
yeah,
called it.
congregation. Yeah.
Um, I am a fan of freedom.
Yeah, me
So it's
too.
like,
That's why we're in this business.
oh, and
We're all wrong.
I cannot see if it's a slippery slope, right? It's a very slippery slope. And I don't know, I'm not 100% convinced that membership of an organization for my chosen profession should supersede the country that I live in, just rules. Or like, I mean, I don't know. I guess in this case, it's more like humanity rules, which does supersede
Yeah.
it, in my
Well,
opinion. But this is
everybody
a
has rights.
specific case, you know?
Yeah, everybody has rights. And somebody shared this with me years ago that your rights, if you go to punch me, your rights end right there at
Like,
the end of my nose.
yeah,
Once you have crossed that little bridge, now you've infringed on my rights.
right.
So it's the rules of playing fair, playing nice, and just being held to a higher standard. It's like the driving. We all have to stop at a red stop sign or a red light. I mean, otherwise we'd all be crashing into each other. So the
Yeah,
rules for a purpose and a reason.
I agree. I mean, yeah, I want to look and try to find some silly, like some rule that maybe we can all agree is silly and then apply what I'm trying to say to it to just see kind of like how you said, like a 1984 situation. Like,
Mhm.
where did these rules end? Who is making up these rules? What is going on? Well, and I fully believe if you're going to make a new rule, you got to get rid of one of the old ones. You can't just rule on top of rule on top of rule on top of rule, right? Like
Well, that's why
that's
we have representatives.
that's
No,
why I'm
seriously,
running
that's
for
why
the
we have
board.
representatives. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go to your local board and talk to whoever is representing you as an agent in your local board. And your local board is also going to have a representative at NAR.
Yeah.
So talk to him or her and share your thoughts
I would
and find
love to
out where
hear
they're coming
people's
from.
thoughts on this. And I think like if we could have like not about this specific case, because I think we can agree on this specific
Yeah.
we I don't know anybody who doesn't agree with the results of this specific
Hmm.
case.
Hmm.
But just having the conversation about should the rules of membership in NAR supersede the rules of their
Well, is it
federal and
really
state?
superseding or is it supporting? Don't use hate speech. Don't violate any people in those protected classes. So actually, I see it differently. I see it as supporting
Mm.
the federal laws and state laws. So
Well, until it's something you don't agree with. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like, let's try to say, okay, is there a rule that could go to the next level, whether supportive or supersede? Is there a rule that could be have another layer where then we don't agree? So, what is the line and what is the rule? And I'd be interested about that.
Yeah, and again, involve your representative.
Involve me too, because I want to talk about it.
Yeah, baby.
Let's that's
all
awesome.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
Jim, that was a good one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, be nice. We should be nice to everybody. I mean, I feel like that's pretty standard.
Well, we teach our children that in school. Be nice, don't bully, and just golden
I don't
rule.
know that. It's probably good that I don't have kids. I don't know if I would teach my kid that.
I'm past that. I'm the grandkids.
I'm like, be nice till they're not nice to you, then knock them out.
Yeah.
If
Give
you're
back
gonna,
to the mother. Yeah, the
yeah,
father. Yeah,
if you're gonna get in a fight, you better win. That's what I'll
Here's
teach
your
my
kid
kid.
back.
Jim, if people have a referral for you in Minnesota, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
I love referrals. Jim Camarata at kw.com or text call 612-562-7461.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a podcast.